first slip, but just a little bit wide from the first lead fielder and raised down to the third man boundary.
Indeed, in comes Siraj again, this time a bit straighter. It's been pushed defensively to the fielder at cover for no run. Just got his bowled a bit more of a consistent line this time around, Siraj. You get the feeling he's had to spend a lot of time with the bowling coach.
Yeah, I'm sure he looks like he has, because he's got his rhythm and his line right straight up. Apart from that boundary, that unfortunate boundary, he's bowled pretty well. The ball is swinging a little bit as well, just taking the ball away from the right-hander. He does bring the ball into the right-hander as well. So Ruturaj Gaikwad will definitely keep a close eye on that one.
Siraj in again, into the pads of Gaikwad, who works this into the onside once more for no run, and that is the end of the first over. Much improved from Siraj. Unlucky to concede the boundary, but the Chennai Super Kings are off and running. Gaikwad on 5 off 5, Uthappa on 1 off 1. Super Kings 6 for no loss after 1 delivery.
Yeah, it's a good start for him, for Mohammad Shiraz, but I still think it's a bit too early to say how the next 3 overs are going to pan out for him, because that can go for plenty in T20 cricket. But so far so good for him, and a good start from Royal Challengers Bangalore. They do look like a very good side this year, and I think with Glenn Maxwell now back inside, back into the team, it looks a very strong middle order. And you've still got to give a lot of credit to Shahbaz Ahmed, who has played a couple of match-winning innings already, and Akashdeep again is bowling brilliantly.
Yes, and of course we've got the all-rounder, the batting all-rounder, Suyash Prabhu Desai on debut, the young man from Goa. Don't know too much about him, but looking forward to seeing him in action a little bit later on. I'm pleased to see him in the middle order, because the list I saw earlier had him at number 11, which isn't really where you want to be as a batting all-rounder.
Yeah, you don't want to bat at number 11 if you're playing as a batter who can bowl a little bit. But at the moment, it will be Josh Hazlewood who will be bowling for RCB. It's good to see Hazlewood.
Yeah, the Australians are back in town, aren't they? Yeah. With Glenn Maxwell featuring for the first time today. That'll be exciting in the second innings. Uthappa facing up to Hazlewood, who bowls another good length delivery. It's been pushed to extra cover, and there is no run. We've seen a little bit more kind of tentativeness. Well, I want to say tentativeness, just kind of watchfulness from opening batters in this IPL, I've noticed. Just, you know, historically in the IPL, you see people kind of go boom, bosh, wallop, straight away going after it. This year, you've seen that whole kind of, we saw Kane Williamson yesterday do it so well, of course, just pacing of the innings.
I think when you have a target in mind, when you know the target, you can pace that innings very well. But if you're batting first, you still need to take that extra bit of risk when you're batting in the first 6 overs as an opener.
Hazlewood in again. This time the ball's been played down to long on for a no. In the end, no run. It's a dot ball. This is Hazlewood's. Josh Hazlewood has become the 150th player to represent the Royal Challengers Bangalore, which is pretty cool. That's not a bad milestone.
Yeah, that's a decent milestone. And yeah, and the youngster who's making his debut, Prabhu Desai, is the 151st. So there are two players, who's sort of making their debut for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Hazlewood has played before in the IPL.
He's done well so far. 2 dots in a row for Hazlewood, and he comes again onto the pads of Uthappa, who pushes this to mid-on. They nearly were in trouble there because he was a bit slow to get going there, Uthappa, but in the end the throw was off target and he makes it. So another single to the score, 7 for no loss.
He's not that quick anymore, Robin Uthappa. He's put on a bit of weight.
Yeah.
It's fair to say.
You can say that.
Still nimble on his feet. Still bats well. Still hits the ball pretty hard. Oh, that was goner. That was an absolute goner if the ball hit the stumps. Very lucky, Dwayne Bravo. Getting very excited in the dugout.
Nearly pushed Chris Jordan off his seat.
Nearly.
Gaikwad on strike. In comes Hazlewood. This is back outside off stump, and this time Gaikwad more conventionally guides the ball off the face of the bat down to third for a single. 8 for no loss after 1.4.
I would love to see if Robin Uthappa dances down the track, knowing that the length Hazlewood is going to bowl. He bowls that perfect test match length, just back off length, where he allows the ball or gives the ball the opportunity to move a little bit. But as a batter, you know that if the bowler is just trying to bowl in that particular area, you can really set yourself up. You can dance down the track and try and get closer to the ball, closer to the pitch of the ball, and take him on.
Hazlewood in once again. This time the ball's pushed to mid-on again by Uthappa for no run. Just seems to sort of, I don't know, I mean, technically, I don't know how you read it, but he looks like he sort of falls over a little bit with Uthappa outside off.
Sometimes, I mean, when the batters are not in the best of shape, they're not batting really, they're not in form, a lot of things happen. But that could change very quickly as well. Once you get a boundary or two, your confidence is back, your feet starts moving better, your head position gets better, and Robin Uthappa would definitely want that in this innings.
Hazelwood runs into Uthappa again. This is a bit fuller. It's been driven, but can't beat the fielder at mid-off. Excellent stuff this from Hazelwood. That test match length, as you say, at 135.0 kilometers per hour, and that isn't the end of a terrific over. Just the 2 runs off it from Hazelwood. Good start to his career at the RCB. Chennai Super Kings 8 for no loss after 2 overs. And we talk about bowling speeds. Abhishek, I was watching yesterday. Umran Malik bowled the 5 fastest balls of the IPL so far. Tremendous speed.
I just feel that in the shorter format, in T20, I'd rather pick a bowler who bowls between 130 to 140 rather than 140 to 150. For me, I feel they're very hittable. Once they're bowling at that speed, they don't often swing the ball. And on good pitches, the ball comes onto the bat a lot better than a medium pacer who's a bit more creative with his bowling with the slow balls, and they have a lot more variations.
In comes Siraj again. This is full and driven. Can't beat the fielder a bit off, and there is no run. Another dot ball. Bit of pressure here for the Chennai Super Kings. I mean, you're so right when you look at bowlers like Lockie Ferguson, Haris Rao from Pakistan, like the quicks, Mark Wood, of course, for England, like the quicks can be expensive.
Yeah, they often are. They often are. You look at somebody like Pat Cummins, who's one of the best hit bowlers, but when it comes to T20 cricket, he's always often goes for a lot of runs. You see anybody who bowls over 145 clicks, they often go at around 10 and a half and over in T20 cricket.
Well, that could apply to Siraj as well. Yeah. So far he's been improved. So today, well, he bowls a short one. Gaikwad's pulled it, and that's going to run away to the boundary in the leg side. Second boundary for Ruturaj Gaikwad. Chennai Super Kings 12 for no loss after 2.2. I couldn't have timed that jinx any better.
That's the commentators. That's our job. We have to do it more often than not. But again, that was a very ordinary delivery. Why I would say ordinary delivery? Because everything was going his way. He was getting the ball to swing away from the right-hander. As soon as he was bowling that test match length, it was harder for the batters to score any runs against him, or for that matter, against the other bowler. But at the moment you go short, you give the batters an opportunity to free their arms and take you on. And that's exactly what Gaikwad did on that occasion. Picked the length early and hit it over that mid-wicket fielder.
Indeed. Well, the score is 12 for no loss off 2.2 overs. Siraj is going to run into Gaikwad, and he pushes this to the fielder at point quite nicely for no run. Another dot ball, but looking a little bit better, Gaikwad. Now, the Chennai Super Kings in this edition of the IPL, Abhishek, have the second lowest average opening stand, which some people would say, well, there you go, that's where they're going wrong. But bottom of the list is the Gujarat Titans, and they seem to be doing fine, despite having the lowest average opening stand in the IPL. It's an area of concern, but it's not the only thing that matters, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there are a few other areas of concern apart from that as well.
We'll talk about some of those in a second, just because I'm sure there'll be some Chennai fans who will be very disappointed with the performance of the franchise this year. In comes Siraj again into the pads of Gaikwad, who works this easily wide of mid-wicket. They should get one. Oh, they're going to get back for 2, and there's a misfield. And there's a big cheer for the misfield as well, as Gaikwad gets back for 2. Chennai on to 14 for no loss off 2.4 overs. Where for you, if you had to categorise it, have Chennai gone wrong this year?
They need to reshuffle a few players. I think a few of the players they've done their time in the IPL. If you ask me, the likes of Robin Uthappa, Mati Raidu, MS Dhoni. So you need few more young bloods who can take who are not scared of taking their chances, who can go out there and show what they can, who can be a bit more fearless. But with these players, with Uthappa and Raidu, you often think that because they are in that stage of their career, they're a bit too cautious in their approach.
Sirajan again. This is a very tight delivery. Gaikwad was looking for the quick single and was sent back by his partner, and there was never a run there, but in his follow through, Siraj fails to hit the stumps as well, so no run. Another dot ball. I mean, they do. I mean, people talk about them being the old boys, the most experienced team. It helps. Experience is worth something.
Then experience is worth everything, but if you cannot back it up with performance, then you need to look at youngsters. They did exceptionally well last year. but I think they got a bit lucky as well last year that they managed to win the tournament. But this year, so far they have looked completely out of touch, most of their players, especially the likes of MS Dhoni. Yes, I know he's got a 50 in the first match, but we all know under what circumstances, the sort of innings he played in the first game.
In comes Siraj again. This time the ball's been guided off the face of the bat to just wide of the fielder. A wideish set. Third inside the circle. They take another single. 15 for no loss after 3 overs.
A lot of people might have their own opinion about MS Dhoni. They might just find me completely wrong on my view on him. But I think MS Dhoni's time is up in IPL, and he's not playing any competitive cricket. If you're not playing any competitive cricket all year round, doesn't matter how good you were 4 or 5 years back. It's not easy just to turn up against the best players in the world and start performing. It's not going to work. It's going to be very difficult. Yes, he might play one-off innings. He might play he might get 150 out of 7 or 8 innings. But is that good enough for CSK to win the tournament or to win matches? That's the big question.
Well, there'll be big questions asked if Chennai are to keep this run of form going. Hazelwood into Gaikwad, short outside the off stump, and Gaikwad guides this beautifully right side of point, and that runs away to the boundary for 4. That was a silky touch from Ruturaj Gaikwad, his 3rd boundary. Chennai at 19 for no loss after 3.1.
Yeah, that was just exquisite. Didn't try and hit it hard. There was an extra cover, there was a cover, there was a point, but he just timed it beautifully between all those fielders. There was a 3rd man, but he had no chance to cut that off. Lovely timing. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and that's what everyone wants from Ruturaj Gaikwad, and that's exactly what he did in the last season. He was the highest run getter in the IPL, and he batted beautifully.
Yeah, it's just a lovely touch, as you say, and it's that placement as well. Beautiful. He's so good when he gets going, as Ruturaj Gaikwad. Hazelwood in again on a good length, this time just pushed to backward point, and there is no run. There's a shy at the non-strikers just for effect as well. Dot ball.
At the moment I feel both these players are being very static in their crease. In T20 cricket, if you allow the bowler to settle down in that line and length where as a batter you're not moving around or you're not playing with his psyche, he's going to keep bowling that length and make it very difficult for you to score runs. So they have to do something different. Either they walk towards the ball or they move outside the leg, give themselves a room to open the leg stump, or something for Hazelwood to give them freebies here.
In comes Hazelwood again, once more looking to find that 3rd region. Can't. Gaikwad finds the backward point fielder again, and there is no run. Yeah, he's going okay, Gaikwad, 17 or 15, but I think part of it is just a lack of confidence and a lack of form, right? You become less dynamic when you're out of touch.
That could happen, and that's exactly what I said, that at the moment they're all worried a little bit about their place as well, because they've not scored runs in the first 4 matches. There's an axe hanging on all of their necks, and if you don't perform, you will be dropped, you will get somebody else in. So they want to score those runs as well, so they're being a bit more cautious at the same time.
Hazelwood in again, big swing from Gaikwad. There's a big appeal, and the umpire raises his finger. He's given Gaikwad out. Now, I thought there might have been an inside edge there. We'll find out immediately. Well, Gaikwad hasn't reviewed straight away. He's pointed to his pad, and Robin Uthappa says, review it, mate. It didn't look out to me. Now, it doesn't look like it's hit the bat, because that was an immediate review usually from the batters. It does look a little bit high, but this could be the first breakthrough for the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and it would be Gaikwad.
The height could be the only factor which can save him there, because the ball looked pretty straight, and that's exactly what I meant, Atif. If as a batter you're static, you're not moving, and you're allowing the bowler to bowl to a static batter, is always going to be difficult for the batsman, because the bowler will keep bowling at perfect length.
LBW.
And that's Hazelwood is so good at it.
Can we please start with the front
he doesn't really move from that test match length. So as a batter, you've got to take a chance. You've got to do something different for him to move from that length and try something different as a bowler.
Indeed. Well, we're going to go to DRS. There's been a slight delay in just getting the right angle up. It's for LBW, and it is quite high. The original decision was out. Remember, it has to be overturned. Now, the thing about that test match length, Abhishek, is it creates a bit of height, but we don't know. It's just flicking him he's got the back leg bent as well, which creates the illusion of height as well, I suppose I should say. But
I think it might go with the umpire decision. It might just clip the bails. We'll have to wait and see, but I just have a feeling where the ball has impacted him, he's quite deep in his crease.
Right, here we go. It pitches outside. The impact is in line, and it is the umpire's pull, exactly as you said, Abhishek. It's just clipping the bails. It's such a cruel game sometimes, because had the umpire given that not out, Ruturaj Gaikwad would be free to continue his innings, but he's got to go, and that's a big wicket for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Josh Hazlewood on debut dismissing the one batter who looked like he might find some form for the Chennai Super Kings, who are now 19 for 1.
Yeah, that was again a very good delivery, very well bowled by Hazlewood, but I would just say it's a bit poor batting from both these players because they allowed Hazlewood to keep bowling that test match length. They didn't go after him, they didn't take any chances with him, and hence probably that's one of the reasons they lost a wicket. Gaikwad again disappointing, I would say, because this tournament he just looks completely out of touch. But in comes Moeen Ali, another opportunity for Moeen as well to show his mettle, show what he can do in the shorter format.
Of course, the short format specialist now retired from Test cricket. We'll be looking forward to playing many seasons of the IPL in the future, I'm sure. Of course, he's got to show some form. I mean, he's got to hope at this point, Moeen Ali, that the feeling in that the Chennai Super Kings form improves in this season, but also the feeling doesn't become one of we need wholesale change, because sometimes people throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Also the funny thing is with franchise cricket, there are players who the franchise will back for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. For whatever reason, it could be their reputation or what they have done in the past for the franchise. But they are a very impatient bunch, the franchise. You know, a lot of people get chop and change very quickly. So if you're not performing in the IPL or at that level, I mean, patience can run out very quickly for a lot of players. So yes, everyone will have that in the back of their mind.
Indeed. Now then, Hazlewood into Moeen Ali, who just pushes his first ball to extra cover, and there is no run. Slip still in place, obviously, but this is really strong stuff from the Royal Challengers Bangalore. If you were going to pick one weakness, it would have been their kind of opening bowling situation, but they've got that bang on the money with the arrival of Hazlewood.
Yeah, I think Hazlewood is going to be is a very important factor for them going forward into the tournament. They're already in a very good position. They're third from the top. They've won 3 out of their 4 games. This is their 5th game. So they're sitting quite pretty at the moment, Royal Challengers Bangalore.
They are indeed, as in comes Hazlewood again, and this time Moeen Ali just pushes the ball to mid-off, and there is no run. So a terrific over that from Josh Hazlewood, just the boundary off the first ball, and then 4 dot balls and the wicket. Figures of 1 for 6 from 2 overs for the Australian. As the Chennai Super Kings are 19 for 1 after 4 overs.
A very good start. Very, very good start. Probably this is the year. I think RCB gives hope to their fans.
Every year.
Every year at the start of the season, when they start performing well, especially last year, they played really, really well. It's just one game which can happen to anybody. But yeah, they look like a proper side last year again. They started really well. They're giving a lot of hope to their fans in Bangalore. They haven't won the tournament so far, the IPL, in the last 14 years. This is a great opportunity. They've got a very balanced side, and I think Fab is doing an exceptional job, a wonderful job as a leader. Virat Kohli can play a lot with freedom, with an open mind here, because he's not leading the side, so that pressure is not on his head anymore. So I think, yeah, the RCB is looking in great shape here.
Well, they've won 3 in a row coming into this match, so they're on a good run, the Royal Challengers Bangalore. As in comes Siraj again. It's a good length ball outside off stump. Uthappa just pushes this down to deep third for a single. The score moves on to 20, and if they win today, they go top of the table. Yeah, they'd be the only team to have won 4 matches out of 5. Rajasthan Royals have a game in hand, of course, so they could still go ahead, as we just see a replay of the ball tracking for Hazlewood's dismissal of Ruturaj Gaikwad. I mean, they know that as well, and there's something very motivating about when this game go top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they would want to win every game possible, and they wouldn't want to lose to Chennai or Mumbai. Yeah, for sure. You don't want to lose a match. No, it's not more than the rivalry.
Southern
the
derby,
bottom
right?
of the table as well. You don't want to lose to somebody who's bottom of the table. No.
As next ball's just defended back to Siraj. by Moeen Ali, and there is no run. There was a bit of a crowd catch there. I think it was a big response from the crowd. Now, if Chennai win this game, they only improve their position by 1. They just move above Mumbai, because there's 3 teams even on 4 points at the moment, and 5 teams even on 6 points. So what's quite remarkable is Gujarat Titans, who are a bit the form team in many ways in this league, they've played 4-1-3 but still find themselves in 5th position in the table at the moment. Siraj in full, thick outside edge, and he goes wide of the fielder at slip. Fielder at deep third, runs round. He runs round very quickly. It's Akash Deep in the deep, and he got down there very, very quickly. That ball was trickling away. It's the pace we talk about. 21 for 1 off 4.3.
Yeah, I think that's why net run rate also becomes a very crucial factor. I know people don't want to talk about net run rate at the start of the tournament, but every game is so crucial. I think if you have to maintain a good net run rate, doesn't matter if it's your first game or the 14th game, you still got to keep a close eye on it, because there will be 2 or 3 teams who will end up on 14 points at the end of the tournament, and then it'll all boil down to net run rate.
Another good length delivery from Siraj, another defensive shot from Uthappa. He's going to have to change things up very quickly. He's on 3 of 8 deliveries, and right now he's got no answer for Mohammad Siraj, or indeed Josh Hazlewood. 21 for 1 after 4.4 overs.
Yeah, what we've seen so far of Moeen Ali in this competition, he also doesn't look in great touch at the moment.
Yeah.
He's struggling a little bit with both bat and ball, so it's very important for him personally as well that he finds form soon. Uthappa
on strike this time, drives the ball uppishly on the bounce to the fielder at mid-on, nearly carried, nearly a second wicket. Robin Uthappa is looking far from convincing at the moment. 3 of 9 for him so far. Another player I've had the opportunity to interview over the years, Robin Uthappa. Lovely man, very kind, and he has this thing, Abhishek, he does that journalists will love. He keeps repeating their name back to them. So if I ask him a question, Robin, how did you find the season? He's like, well, that's a good question, Atif, because the thing about this season, Atif, is that I was playing over here, Atif, and it just makes you feel very special, you know? Robin Uthappa. I played a lot of cricket with Robin. We played together in Pune Warriors as well that year, where 2011, when India won the World Cup, Yuvi was our captain, Yuvraj Singh. What a team. Short outside the off stump and hammered through the covers by Uthappa. There he goes, he's off and running now. That's his first boundary, a crucial one for the Chennai Super Kings. 25 for 1 after 5 overs. It's been a mixed bag of a start, but Royal Challengers Bangalore will definitely feel like they're on top at the moment. Abhishek, tell us a little bit more about your memories of playing with Robin Uthappa and the kind of character he is. And then they're going to be joined for the first time today by Nikesh Rugani. No, he's a lovely guy, obviously. We played at the under-19 levels as well, and we played a lot of first-class cricket against each other for Karnataka and Bengal respectively. So yeah, but again, a very good cricketer, but I think in the last couple of years he's just lost a bit of form. And that happens to everyone. But yeah, going back to the game at the moment, yeah, that last shot was a terrific shot from Robin Uthappa. A bit of room outside the off stump from Shiraz, but you still got to put them away. And now it comes Akashdeep, who's been the find for RCB in this season, Nikesh.
He has indeed, yeah. Comes into the attack to replace Josh Hazlewood. 25 for 1 then. 5 overs gone here, and I suppose that shot off that previous ball, just reminding us of the talent that Robin Uthappa possesses. But as you were mentioning earlier, some of these older players, they do it in flashes, don't they? The MS Dhonis of this world, the Ambati Raidus. Can they find that consistency? That has been the big issue so far. It's going to be Moeen Ali on strike for the start of this deep over, and he comes, and this is punched out towards extra cover. There's a slight fumble on the edge of the circle there, and comfortably through for a single. Unusual fumble there from the skipper, Faf du Plessis. Yeah, he doesn't miss many. It's just maybe a bad bounce or maybe a bit of dew. There are towels in the back of their trousers, so I'd be a bit surprised if dew set in so early into the evening, but still there could be a bit of a dew factor. But at the moment, Chennai Super Kings need a few boundaries here. They need a better start than what they have got so far. 26 of 5.1 overs. They need to make it to at least 40 by the end of the 6th. Yeah, Robin Uthappa currently 7 from 10. Takes his guard. Current run rate just 5 runs and over at the moment for the Chennai Super Kings. They really do need to get a move on, as you say. Akashdeep in once more, and this is flicked in the air off the hip of Uthappa. to the sweeper on the mid-wicket boundary. Just a single once more. Is likely to play those shots in the air, both sides of the wicket. As Uthappa gets away with that on that occasion. 27 for 1 in the 6th. Did he have those funky hairstyles, Abhishek, in 2011 when you played with him?
No, not
He's
really.
always done something different, hasn't he?
He had a fat paycheck though. Even then, for
Well,
the Pune Warriors.
I'm sure he's still got one now, Abhishek. Chennai Super Kings don't mess around really. This is slightly short to Moeen. It thuds into his thigh guard. And they scamper through for a quick single as it's fielded at backward point. Was that ever an issue, Abhishek? Just be honest with me. You know, some of the younger players, some of the non-international players in the side, there is a big gap in the pay between the star players, the Yuvraj Singhs, the Robin Uthappas at that time, and the younger players just coming through. Did the younger players ever think about that?
I mean, to be honest, it'll be unfair for you to even think about it, because it just doesn't make any sense if you are thinking that way, because it's just going to make you unhappy or a bit, I don't know what the exact right word is for that.
Comes across to the off stump, is clipped on the pad here. Knocked out is the decision from the umpire. Dot ball, 28 for 1.
Yeah, but as a youngster, all you can do is try and perform at the best, and and hope that the next time there is an auction, or if somebody wants you badly enough, they're going to pay you a heavy amount as well, a big fat checks, and that's all you can do. I don't think any point on looking at these players or looking at the likes of Robin or Yuvraj and trying to compare, because it's not going to make any sense.
Dashdeep into Uthappa once again. This is hammered straight back over his head. Stand and deliver. It's got all the way for 6 as well. Just clears the boundary behind the bowler. That was a lovely shot. It was in the slot, to be fair, from Akashdeep, and Robin Uthappa just enjoyed that, didn't he? Nice pose at the end as well.
Yeah, that was a very good shot. He picked the length very early, stand and deliver as you called it, and was in the slot as well, but great balance when Robin played that shot. He knew exactly where he wanted to hit that, and with that shot you can tell that the pitch is starting to get better. Earlier it was a bit difficult straight away when the ball was moving around a little bit. There was a bit of movement off the surface as well.
Looping again, this is slightly shorter. He looks to pull it away with the bat. It comes off the thigh pad once again into the offside, and they get through for a leg by. 34 for 1. That is the end of the over. It is. So power play done with, 6 overs gone. Chennai Super Kings haven't managed to get to that 50 mark, as you mentioned. 35 for 1. It's been a small win here, I suppose, for the RCB.
Yeah, I think RCB has done really well to keep them under 6 and over in the first 6 overs, where the pitch doesn't look too grabby. It still looks a decent pitch to bat on. You might not get 200, but it's not a pitch where you will be happy to get 140 batting first. You still have to get to that 160, 170 mark, any sort of pressure on the RCB batting order, they're playing really, really good cricket this season, RCB. But yeah, I think, as you said, RCB will be very happy with their start so far.
This will be interesting. Glenn Maxwell coming into the attack for the first time. He's off spin. Doesn't often bowl his full quota. They usually try and sneak an over or two in situations like this. Is he going to be the one they target? He's in here round the wicket to Uthappa. It's short, it's inside edged onto his thigh there. He'll feel they have missed out a touch there. It was a very slow delivery, that just angled across the right hander. Interesting angle he's using here as well, from round the wicket.
Yeah, Glenn Maxwell often bowls around the stumps in T20 cricket. He hardly ever comes over the stumps.
And again, this is worked away out towards wide long on for a single to Uthappa. He moves on to 15 from 16, 36 for 1 in the 7th.
He's a very canny customer, he's a very canny bowler in T20. He knows exactly what he's looking to do. Brings that angle into play where he doesn't really want to turn the ball much. He just takes that ball away with the angle, bowling round the stumps to the right hander. And now with Moeen on strike, him bowling round the stumps as an off spinner, he can turn the ball away from him and make life difficult for Moeen Ali. But will Moeen go over covers? We know that he loves going inside out against somebody who's taking the ball away from him.
Maxwell into Moeen. It's a shorter delivery, just respectfully defended off the back foot by Brother Mo, as we affectionately call him here in England. Midway through the 7th over, still 36 for 1. Chennai, Maxwell in once more, floated up slightly and cut away. Can't get it past backward point. He's way out of his crease, Moen, and he's been run out. He was halfway down the track looking for a single that just wasn't on. And it's Suyash Prabhudesai with the throw back into the keeper, Dinesh Karthik, who does the rest, demolishes the stumps in the end, does Karthik. He was a long way down, and that's a poor bit of judgment by Moeen Ali, 36 for 2.
But I would say that's exceptional fielding. I don't think Moeen ever expected him to stop the ball. Terrific fielding, diving to his right, picking up one hand and throwing it straight into the wicketkeeper's glove. Terrific effort from the youngsters, playing his very first game for RCB. Moeen Ali out for 3 of 8 deliveries. CSK in all sorts of trouble on 36 for 2 after 6.4.
It was an outstanding bit of fielding. Hadn't beaten that infield though, and Moeen was already halfway down the track. It didn't look as though there was any call between the two. They were just sort of both wandering towards the middle of the track, and before you knew it, Moeen is on his way. So Shivam Dubey, another left-hander, strides out to the crease to join Robin Utterberg. And we've seen some flashes from Shivam Dubey this season with the bat, haven't we?
Yeah, he's again somebody with a lot of talent. We've seen some terrific innings from him in the last few years in the IPL, but again he's somebody who's want to make a big name for himself, make a massive mark in this competition. But to be able to do that, he'll have to be a lot more consistent than what he has been this season. But as you said, we have seen some spark, we've seen some some good innings so far, but he's just not capitalized on it and made it a big one.
He's got a couple of balls here to negotiate from Glenn Maxwell. He's 4 balls into his first over, has affected the wicket, not through his bowling, through the run out. He's in here to Dubey, who defends back down the track for no run. I mean, it doesn't look like a 36 for 2 kind of pitch, Abhishek, does it?
Absolutely not. Not after 6.5 overs.
And again, Maxwell this time floated up and driven gently out towards long off. So just a single to finish off an excellent over from Glenn Maxwell. Just the 2 runs from it. The run out as well of Moeen Ali. 7 overs gone. CSK 37 for 2. As we keep mentioning, 4 defeats already from their first 4 games, along with the Mumbai Indians as well, the 2 most successful franchises in IPL history, having an absolute nightmare start to this season. And let's just talk through their problems once more, Abhishek, because you talked about some of the players being perhaps over the hill. Robin Utthapa, MS Dhoni, certainly 2 of those you could put into that category, maybe Ambati Rayudu as well. But they've had that same core for a number of years. The year before last, they finished bottom of the table, didn't they?
Yeah.
Then they came back and won it with pretty much the same side, that Dad's Army. Things just happened to click. And once again, the same core not doing the business. It's not necessarily just because of the older players, is it? Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily because of the older players, but the issue is when they are not performing, and I'll come back to that after this delivery.
Dashdeep is in. This is punched off the back foot powerfully past point. Won't get to the boundary though. Cut off by the sweeper, and it is just a single to Dubey, 38 for 2.
Because they're in a position where it's very hard for them to take a chance and give youngsters an opportunity after losing the first 4, because they still feel or think that they still have an opportunity if they can get on a momentum of or a winning run. But I just feel that looking at these players and the way they've been playing in the last 4 games, it's going to be very difficult for CSK to come back from that, and for these players to find form. Yes, they might do it once in 4 or 5 games, but to be consistent, that's going to be a big challenge for these players.
38 for 2 then. Got some of those senior men to come in next. Rayudu, Jadeja, Dhoni, Bravo. Next 4 batters scheduled in to take another look at that brilliant run out from Prabhudesai in the previous over. Diving towards his right to field that at backward point, throwing it all in one motion, and Dinesh Karthik doing the rest to not just dislodge the bells, dislodge pretty much all the stumps out of the ground as well. It was emphatic in the end from DK. Right, Utthapa is back on strike. In comes Akashdeep, and this is guided down towards deep third. Brilliant shot there to get it just away to the right of that short third fielder on the edge of the circle. rolled the wrists as well to make sure it went into the ground. It's more like it from Robin Uthappa, 42 for 2.
Yeah, he's controlled that shot really well, Robin Uthappa. The ball did bounce a bit more than he anticipated. The third man fielder being inside the 30-yard circle, he just played it, just dabbed it between that third man fielder and the point fielder, found the gap to perfection. Not a bad delivery, but very well played by Robin. Straight away, Virat Kohli runs to the bowler, gives himself a few words of wisdom where he should be looking to bowl, what field he should take against Robin Uthappa.
Here comes deep once more. This is slightly straighter and just worked into the onside for a single. Uthappa onto 20 now from 18. 43 for 2 midway through this 8th over. Yeah, it's good to see Virat Kohli still involved, still very much a senior player in the RCB franchise. Been there from the very start. Of course, he'll still have a leadership role to play, won't he, Abhishek?
I think you always have a leadership group, so he'd definitely be one of the main leadership, one of the mains in the leadership group as well, alongside Fab du Plessis.
Deep into Dubé, who just helps this on its way down towards fine leg. It was a delivery that was heading down the leg side, and just a flick of the wrist really from the tall Shivam Dubé to help it on its way. That's not where he wants to be, Akashdeep. 47 for 2.
It's been a bit expensive so far in this competition. Yes, he's a youngster, they're giving him lots of opportunity and they're showing a lot of faith, which is the right thing to do. He's picked up wickets as well, but even though he has picked up wickets, he's been a touch expensive. Sometimes I think he just experiments a bit too much than necessary and often gets penalized for those.
Comes again to Dubé, this time on the off-stump line, and it's punched only as far as Kohli had extra cover there. A bit of fielding, dot ball. It's a good position to be in, isn't it, Virat Kohli? You're still part of that leadership group, but you don't have the pressure of captaincy. You can go and give your advice to the bowlers, to your younger players, but at the end of the day, those L's don't weigh quite as heavily on your shoulders when they come.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons you'll see him batting a lot freely with an open mind, not taking too much pressure.
Final ball of the over is again defended into the offside for no run. So good finish to the over at least from Akashdeep. Still the 10 runs from it though. 8 overs gone. Chennai Super Kings 47 for 2.
Earlier you felt that whenever he was the captain, and because there's been so much pressure on him from everywhere, and there was so much chat, so many articles about him not winning anything as a leader, as a captain. He didn't win any World Cups, didn't win the IPL, so I think there was a lot of pressure. He was taking a lot of pressure, a lot of onus on himself to score all the runs when he was batting out there for the RCB, and also while he was leading the side, may it be bowling changes or picking the right side. So now all those gone, I think he'll be a much better player.
Maxwell continues round the wicket to Uthappa, who's wrapped on the pads. A shout for LBW from Maxwell, but when you're bowling from that angle, there's not a great deal of hope, especially when the ball's not turning. It was just angled from the leg side, probably pitched outside leg and hit outside leg. And he is again, this time on off stump, and it's worked away and towards long on for another single. 48 for 2. Well, 6 or 7 months ago, Abhishek, Virat Kohli was India's all-format captain still, wasn't he?
No.
How things change.
Yeah, I mean, with Indian cricket we have seen that in the past as well, that how things change, how people lose faith so very quickly from one individual. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll come back again to that.
Maxwell into Dubé this time. It guides to short third. No run on, dot ball.
Yeah, if he doesn't get 100 for the next 6 months or 8 months, people start talking about dropping him as well.
Well, they've been talking about that already, yeah. Abhishek. Every time he gets a 50 or a 70 or so, it's not good enough. It's not 100, is it? It is Maxwell once more. It's floated up and it's hammered out towards long on. Oh, it's got the legs. It's easily got the legs. It's into the stands. The vacant seating there over in that particular stand. 50 up for the Chennai Super Kings in style. Shivam Dubé just allowed to extend those long levers. 54 for 2 in the ninth.
Yeah, he's a very, very strong man, Shivam Dubé. He does hit the ball hard, and if he hits the ball hard, the ball stays hit. That's a lovely shot. Great follow through. Pick the length early. Goes in the slot. With those long levers, he's not going to hit anywhere apart from outside the ground. 94-meter long 6. They needed a boundary there. CSK. That'll give them a lot of confidence going into the game.
You think there should be something more than a 6 for sixes that are over 90 metres.
I think
Maybe
it'll be a bit
8.
unfair. Anyway, the game is completely unfair for the bowlers. Don't motivate
Yeah, we're
them.
batters anyway, aren't we? We don't care about
I
them.
do bowl. I do
Especially
bowl.
the spinners. Well, you do bowl a bit of spinners, don't you? Right. Dubé takes his guard once more. Maxwell in again, this time slightly shorter with his length. Not able to get under it, just defending it back to the bowler. No run.
Yeah, good line, good length there on that occasion from Glenn Maxwell, just pulling the lead ever so slightly.
This is outside the off stump and hammered off the back foot, but only as far as the sweeper. A deep cover, so single to finish off the over. Another decent over from Glenn Maxwell, just the 8 runs from it, despite that 6. 55 for 2 then, the Chennai Super Kings, after 9 overs. The umpire points to what is probably a brand new, very expensive watch that he's been given. And we're going to have our first strategic timeout of the evening with the Chennai Super Kings still in a spot of bother, you'd say. Current run rate just over 6 runs and over. They were asked to have a bat first, of course. It was the RCB winning the toss. Faf du Plessis deciding he'll have a bowl first. Interesting observation that I've had in the last few games. They've been using this spray, haven't they, on the outfield?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before? An anti-dew kind of spray, wax-based spray. Explain to us how it works, if you know.
I don't know a lot about it, but I've seen it before. That once you spray that, it just stops the dew to settle in on the ground. It just doesn't let the dew settle, and if the dew doesn't settle, obviously the ball's not going to get that wet. So probably just trying to minimize the damage as much as they can, because otherwise, as you've spoken about this earlier as well, Nikki, that the toss becomes a deciding factor of winning and losing a game in the IPL. If you allow the dew to play a massive role, which often does in some of the matches. So I think it's just trying to make it more even for both teams.
Indeed, yeah, I think it's wax-based, I was reading, and something to do with a lot of these new modern grounds are sand-based underneath, so the way it works is the dew doesn't settle on the grass, it kind of rolls off and into the surface and into the sand, which obviously helps keep the ball a little bit drier in those latter overs. So that's the reason why I suppose we have seen sides defending first innings totals, even though they've not been sort of post 200 all the time, which is good to see. But it's interesting that the teams, I don't know if it's a psychological thing here from Faf du Plessis and all the skippers really in this IPL, but they just seem to choose to bowl first. They still want to chase, don't they?
Yeah, I think it gives you a better idea about
so actually it's been awesome. He does all the hard work and training, and little things like that are a big turner in T20 cricket.
You can plan things a lot better, because once you have a target in front of you, you know exactly how hard you need to go in the first 6 overs, how you need to bat in the middle period. Yes, it doesn't really happen every time. It doesn't really, you don't really win every game when you go out there and chase, but more often than not, you do win matches when you're batting second.
Indeed, so we just see the countdown, 15 seconds left on this strategic timeout. Chennai Super Kings 55 for 2 after 9 overs. Lots of the various legends from both of the benches and to chat to their teams out there to discuss what the plan is for the next few overs. I suppose the plan for the Chennai Super Kings is get on with it. Nothing more simple than that, really. They've got plenty of batting to come in. Amity Rayudu, Ravi Jadeja, MS Dhoni, Dwayne Bravo, Chris Jordan as well. They can't hang around too much longer, these two.
Yeah, they can't. They have to get going. They are still behind. They are just going at 6 and over. I think that they want to put pressure on RCB, who's got a great batting order, and they're all scoring runs. So they have to get going. They have to get to that 160. They try and get 10 from here. That gets them to 165 if they can manage to get 10 and over from here.
More spin, this time left arm from Shahbaz Ahmed. It's worked away behind square on the leg side, only as far as short fine leg by Dubé. No run.
Yeah, at some point they'll have to target 1 or 2 bowlers where they have to take some risks. Shahbaz Ahmed definitely going to be one of them, and especially Dubé being out there with the ball coming into him, he should definitely look to play some big shots.
This time he again works it behind square on the leg side. This time gets himself a single. Dubé 56 for 2. Do you think it's a bit of a myth, this whole thing about the ball spinning away from the bat? All batters don't like that. I mean, I can understand it a little bit in T20 cricket, that a left-hander with the ball spinning into that left-hander would prefer to face that kind of thing just to open up the leg side, but in all forms of cricket. I mean, it never bothered me. I don't know if it ever bothered you. Ball spinning away from you.
I always preferred to play. I was saying it to Dan the other day that I always preferred the ball to go away from me. I always preferred facing a leg spin or a left arm spin.
This is going away from Uthappa, cuts away, short delivery out towards deep point. Just the single once more, 57 for 2.
Because I always felt that going over covers, going over long on, or even sweeping, it's easier if the ball is going away from you rather than coming in. I always found it easier. So yeah, I mean, it's personal choice, it's personal preference, but it does make life easier when the ball is turning into you and you're looking to play those big shots. It does make life a bit easier.
Dubé this time works a full ball out towards deep mid-wicket. Just another gentle single, 58 for 2 in the 10th. But I still think it's one of those modern myths, isn't it? They just go on and on and on about it.
Yeah.
Oh, right-handers on, bring the leg spinner on.
Now, what I don't agree with exactly that if there is a left-hander and if you're not bowling your left-arm spinner, then what's the point picking him to play? If you don't think he's good enough to bowl to both, then why are you picking him in the playing 11?
This time Shabazz is into Uthappa, again short and again cut away only as far as the sweeper on the offside. Another single. It's been a tidy over so far for the left arm spinner. One ball remaining in it.
Yeah, another word which really annoyed me a lot while I was playing was horses for courses, which was used very loosely by a lot of coaches.
Down the track a little bit this time. Dubé works it out towards deep square leg, so another single to finish off. A very tidy over that from Shabazz Ahmed. Just the 5 runs from it. Chennai Super Kings 60 for 2 at the halfway stage. Why did that annoy you, Abhishek? Horses for courses.
Yeah, Abhishek, why did it annoy you? Horses for courses?
No, I mean, there were times when I bowled a spell for 3 overs for 13 and picked up a wicket and a drop next match saying, oh, this wicket doesn't suit you. I mean, that's just I just found it baffling, really. But yeah, to each his own. I'm not going to get into too much details. Who was the coach? I'm not going to name him.
Abhishek, you go and calm down in the corner for a few overs. Ardif is going to join me for the next 5 as the Chennai Super Kings look to kick on here. 60 for 2 at the halfway stage. Not good enough at the moment.
No, it's not. And the way they're sort of working it around off the spinners is just going to be more frustrating for the Yellow Army as well, the fans of the Chennai Super Kings. It's not acceptable with the spinners on. They're sort of choking the life out of this Chennai Super Kings innings. They have to start going faster. Working it around for singles isn't going to cut it. And, you know, when you think about it, they've had Shabazz and they've had Maxwell, which is theoretically easier than getting away someone like Hasaranga who's on now.
Here he is, Hasaranga, and immediately the big wind-up from Dubé, playing a miss outside the off stump. Didn't really have a clue which way that was turning. Looked like the wrong one to me. Dot ball.
Yeah, I mean, you're better off trying to play that shot against a bowler who's not going to spin the ball a lot like a Maxwell. They kind of let him off the hook.
And again floated up, this time hit high and down the ground. Has it got the distance? It has. It's over the sight screen. It's 6 more to Shivam Dubé. For a moment it didn't look as though he quite timed that, but he's got those long levers, managed to get his arms through the ball. That's what he was looking to do off the previous delivery. He's on to 22 from 16. CSK 66 for 2 in the 11.
Yeah, more of this needed for the Chennai Super Kings. It's such a brilliant shot. As you say, he's such a big guy. He can just kind of get underneath it, use his full body frame to get behind that and put it away for 90 metres, but needs to do a lot more of that. They need some more big hits. They need to keep targeting these spinners. They can't let them settle in and just walk all over this batting side.
Takes his guard once again. There's Dubé. Does Saranga respond to that? Slightly shorter and wider this time and cut away out towards deep cover. There is a sweeper out there, Mohamed Siraj cleaning up. Just a single, 67 for 2. But more intent, and strangely they have picked a bowler here to target. It's not the one we expected, this one, Indu Hasaranga, but they've clearly got a plan.
Yeah, they do. Hasaranga 4th in the top wicket takers list so far in this IPL. I'm sure they have their reasons, but maybe they didn't see the Glenn Maxwell overs coming. We've seen him be quite effective in the Big Bash and for Australia as well, obviously, but just I feel he's getting away with a few here.
Saranga into Uthappa, who just works it behind square on the leg side, sneaks a single. Flow comes in at the non-strikers and they won't get any overthrows here. 68 for 2. Uthappa 24 from 23. Dubé 23 from 17. 8 from this over so far.
Just got to up the scoring rate, keep this momentum going. They need to score 10 and over off every one of the last few overs to get themselves a reasonable chance.
Swinging into Dubé again, goes for the wind-up, pulls it powerfully in the gap on the legs.